Oh man, can't get like choked up now. The video hasn't even started. Hey guys, we need to talk. This is a video that I have known that I've wanted to make and also been... Are you kidding me? What? Well, sorry you guys. There's that expression, people like bottle up their emotions. I've always joked like, I do have a bottle. It's just like the size of like a shot glass. Okay. This is a video that I have wanted to make and also been, frankly, absolutely terrified to make for several months now. Around 2 years ago when I started this channel, I had no idea that it would get this big, this fast. Right now we're sitting at over 250 million views on this channel, and that is absolutely insane to me. It has been so incredibly crazy, amazingly fun learning about... I don't know why this sounds like a breakup video or somewhere. I'm not going anywhere, I promise. I've had so much fun learning with you guys about art history and poisonous paints, etc. And it has been amazing to have formed such an incredible community on here. I am so grateful. Because I'm so grateful, and also because it's something that I really wished, both as a kid and teenager, and also even now, because it's something I wish that I heard a lot more from some of my favorite creators here on YouTube. I wanted to tell you guys about some things going on behind the scenes with my mental health. Please forgive me. I'm sure that you have realized this already, but this video is very unscripted. So it's going to be extremely chaotic. It's probably not all going to be as tearful as this first bit has been. Oh my gosh. But if it's any consolation, I used to joke I could count the number of classes in high school that I had not cried heartily in on one hand. And probably less than that. I'm not like in a mental health crisis right now. I solidly just have absolutely no ability to talk about anything that is emotional to me without absolutely bursting into tears. Anyway, forgive the chaos. And if you're wondering why I keep like looking down, I have a really loose outline on my phone that I definitely will be referring to, because otherwise I'm gonna get so off track here. For the past few months, things have been a little bit more difficult, mental health-wise, for me. Not just because of the stalker situation that happened earlier this year, but also because I have a tendency to be... The irony of saying this statement while like sobbing is hilarious. I have a tendency to be overly hard on myself and work myself really hard. I kind of have this recurring joke with my partner because he is a huge extrovert, that if I was not literally married to him, that I would just never do anything besides work, because I would forget that there's anything else to do. I'm a little bit of a workaholic. Because of that, I recently realized that despite the fact that I have a degree in painting, I haven't made a painting or done any painting at all in about a year and a half. I'll get into why that's important and how that's relevant in a minute, but it caused a little bit of a downward spiral when about a month ago, a sponsor, Melanote, reached out to me and told me that they wanted to sponsor me doing a creative project for this video. This should have been something that I was thrilled about. Finally, I was getting the opportunity to actually make something and do something, rather than just talking about it. But instead, all I really felt was this crippling sense of anxiety and self-doubt. And I realized that I put myself and this channel into a very specific and very limiting box. I had avoided doing a lot of things that I love and that I feel very passionate about because I told myself that I was too busy working on everything else with this channel. It had just scaled super fast. There were other projects that were a higher priority, but I think I eventually realized that the reason that I hadn't been doing art wasn't because I didn't have the time. It was because I was terrified of, honestly, of failure. For as long as I can remember, I have struggled with a persistent feeling that I am not doing enough. I'm not working hard enough. I am not kind or empathetic or funny enough. I'm not smart enough. Insert what have you. But especially, honestly, just that I'm not doing enough or doing something that's important enough. My solution to that, to feeling like I was not doing enough, my coping mechanism for that has been to stick to things that I received approval for. Sticking to things that I know that I'm good at and that I know are successful and that I know are appreciated. And I think that's why I ended up doing a lot of these super fun videos about color history on this channel. I wasn't originally planning on having that be the focus of this channel, but it was so fun and I felt like I was so good at it that I got into this rhythm that I enjoyed so much until I realized that I had stopped doing a lot of the other things that I set out and I made this channel to do. And I think there's this moment where you don't realize how much you've slipped in your self-confidence, in your mental health, until you reach this place of burnout, a sort of rock bottom. And you come to the realization that you have the option, that you can keep going and try and just keep pushing, and you can kind of stay as you are, maybe have things get better or not, or you can open a new chapter. And so this video, for me, is opening a new chapter. And to do that, I wanted to celebrate making a painting with you guys for the first time, basically since I graduated with my degree. And in this video, I wanted to address my own experience as a creator with mental health, but especially with anxiety and with perfectionism, and what causes these feelings and how to fight back against them and how to still succeed and feel fulfilled. And so I wanted to do this painting with you as an exploration of me breaking past my own anxieties and my own fears for this channel, for the future, and honestly, in general. If you're on this video and you've gotten to this point and you're like, well, shoot, all I was on this channel for was the poison paint. I don't really care about anything else. Great. Feel glad to have you. Hopefully you keep watching because I'm still gonna be doing those videos too. What it is that I don't want to limit myself by putting myself in a box when I know that there is this big, beautiful world out there, and there is so much to talk about with art history and making art and all of these different subjects. But anyway, to start figuring out some of these ideas for this painting, I decided to turn to this week's sponsorship that actually brought me to the realization of this little mental spiral, which was Milanote. Also, thank you so much, Milanote. They have no idea what I'm talking about in this video, so I really hope they don't see this and immediately decide to drop me as a sponsor, but I guess we'll see. If you don't see any more videos with Milanote after this, you'll know they hated it. So I will go to pre-slight emotional breakdown, Becca, and we'll talk a little bit about Milanotes. And we'll talk a little bit about what this painting is about.
You wanna help me do a sponsorship?
Come here. Oh, yes. The first part of making any piece of art for me is brainstorming, which is why I am so incredibly grateful to have Millinode sponsoring this video. Millinode is a tool that's designed to help you plan, organize, brainstorm, and collaborate on different ideas. And it is seriously one of the best organizational tools I have ever used as an artist. And it is free, which is freaking awesome. So I started out on Millinode just kind of brainstorming, and I was like, ooh, it would be interesting to paint on this kind of like funky Victorian panel that I have. What would be interesting to paint on there? My mind went to things like Memento Mori's, Victorian mourning jewelry, Deadly Nightshade, all of these very like spooky, almost unearthly vibes. Oh, he done. Well, I'm sorry. You wanna go? So I used one of their hundreds of templates to create this brainstorm board right here. And then I went back to my main board and I looked at the Deadly Nightshade, and I was actually able to do some color grabs from some of my images and form a really cool limited color palette that I wanted to incorporate into this work. Also, it's super nice because this entire board was already a preset template that I could just plug stuff into and organize my thoughts for this project. And it's really easy to add different notes, images, videos, and tasks that I need to complete and just have everything all in the same place, which, being real here, as someone who has diagnosed ADHD, is ridiculously helpful. I then went and I made a mood board of some pieces that I really enjoyed that were just exploring some of these themes so that I would have something to be inspired by as I was figuring out the composition for this piece. And finally, I made a subboard of all of my research materials. Honestly, this is one of my favorite parts of Millinode because if you are like me and you are a 40 tabs open at the same time girly, it's super nice to be able to organize all of your resources for one project in one place in a way that is highly visual and also super easy to reference and come back to later. You can actually share it and your other boards with your friends and your colleagues so that they can also make comments on your designs and research. You can also use it directly from your phone via the Millinode app, which is also free, which is super useful because I don't know about you guys, but usually when I get hit with the idea for my next big project, it is not like while I am conveniently sitting next to a computer. So if you're interested in checking out Millinode, I highly recommend it. And as I said earlier, it is literally free with no time limit. It's literally free. So if you want to sign up for a free account, click the link in my description and start organizing all of your pent-up ideas. And with that, let's start sketching out this painting and getting into the weeds a little bit, shall we? Anyway, I was really inspired by like all of these concepts of Memento Mori specifically. And if you're not familiar with the idea of Memento Mori, the idea was that it is a piece of art that helps you to literally remember death, which sounds very morbid, but I think is extremely validating for me because it's also intended to help you remember that you are alive, that your life has a very specific purpose. So I wanted to incorporate some of that into this painting. I settled on a composition finally, I did some color studies, and then we were just gonna start painting. And with that, I wanted to get into a little bit of the weeds as far as anxiety goes and perfectionism. Let's talk a little bit about anxiety and also about art. So I thought as I was doing this painting, I could share a little bit about what has really helped me in my own anxiety and my own perfectionism to just kind of get through that and keep doing stuff. Because I'm not gonna lie, one of my proudest achievements is that despite the fact that I am a scared little vole, I always do it anyway. And I think that's my first point that I really wanted to share to anyone out there who might be struggling with a sense of perfectionism or anxiety, just really being afraid to start something or do something and saying like, I wish that I had the balls to do this, but I just don't feel like I'm good enough. And I feel like I'm going to fail. And if I'm just going to fail, why would I start? But I heard something a long time ago, and I think I've carried it with me as a sort of mantra throughout my life. And the concept is not only do it scared, but also do it badly. Do a bad job. Just start it. I think that there's this concept of, for a lot of us who have anxiety, there's this concept of what is the worst thing that could happen, and kind of catastrophizing a lot of situations. But I think that we could all stand to ask ourselves a little bit more is, if that bad thing does happen, then what? How can I figure out how I can just move through this situation instead of letting the fear of something that might happen keep me from ever accomplishing anything that I want to in my life? Do it badly, but do it is so important, because when you give yourself the freedom to do something badly and to just do it for fun, it takes away a lot of the pressure of feeling like you have to do something perfectly. I know for me, growing up and still now, I really have struggled with the idea of, if something is not absolutely perfect and exactly the way that I envisioned it, that it's not good enough. And I don't want to show it to people. But I think one of the beautiful things about art, and for me about painting, but also about anything that you create, the beautiful thing about art in its ability to combat perfectionism and anxiety is that if you are making a piece of art, no matter what it is never going to be perfect. And so it allows you, if you let it, to step back and to enjoy the process of just making something. And when we can focus on the act of creation and the act of enjoyment, then it helps us to get away from our own ideas of what something should be and allows us to just let it be what it is. I think that it's extremely helpful for mental health because a lot of anxiety centers around the concept of control and safety. It's the idea of, if I delay doing this, if I stay home, if I don't do this awkward situation, if I don't go to this party, if I don't make this video, if I don't talk to this employer, then the scary thing won't happen. The problem with that is that in trying to maintain control, you end up taking more and more control away from yourself. And you end up putting yourself in a more and more powerless situation. But I think that one of the things about art is that it gives a lot of that power back to you in relinquishing some of that control. And I realize that sounds kind of funny, but if you've ever seen a single episode of Bob Ross, you'll know he talks about this idea of happy accidents.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents. And when you get over that fear of making a mistake, then it becomes fun.
When you are making something, there's always going to be this idea of what you envision something to be and what it turns out as. And that's never going to be the same thing, ever. And that can be very discouraging. But I think it can also be incredibly empowering, because sometimes if you can let go and if you can just enjoy the process, then it ends up being something that's better than what you thought you would have been able to make anyway. There's a book that I really like that was recommended to me back in high school by my then art teacher, someone who has remained a very dear friend to me. The book is called Art and Fear: Observations on the Perils and Rewards of Art Making. There is this amazing quote: "To require perfection is to invite paralysis. The pattern is predictable. As you see error in what you have done, you steer your work towards what you imagine you can do perfectly. You cling ever more tightly to what you already know you can do, away from risk and exploration, and possibly further from the work of your heart. You find reasons to procrastinate, since to not work is to not make mistakes. Believing that artwork should be perfect, you gradually become convinced that you cannot make such work. You are correct. Sooner or later, since you cannot do what you are trying to do, you quit. And in one of those perverse little ironies of life, only the pattern itself achieves perfection, a perfect death spiral. You misdirect your work. You stall, you quit. You make good work by, among other things, making lots of work that isn't very good, and gradually weeding out the parts that aren't good, the parts that aren't yours. It's called feedback, and it's the most direct route to learning about your own vision. It's also called doing your work. After all, someone has to do your work, and you're the closest person around. So, as I'm finishing up this painting here, I wanted to use this video, as I said before, to kind of usher in a little bit of a new chapter for this channel, but also for myself. I think something that has been so amazing about this channel, and frankly about you guys in this community, has been that I am constantly learning something new and trying something new. I want to make sure that I'm not limiting myself and limiting the quality of my content because I am only doing things that I know work. And so I'm making this video. It could be an absolute flop, and that's okay. I don't even know that I would mind that. So if somehow you have made it to the end of this video and you're still watching, first of all, thank you. You should pat yourself on the back. Also, you should check out some of my other videos that are a lot less chaotic and way more scripted. But I really want to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to make content that I wish that the world had more of, and giving me this incredible platform where, for some reason, people are willing to listen to me yap, but also where we can do a bunch of stuff and try new things and learn new things together. There's going to be a lot of videos coming out in the next couple of months that I'm really excited for, that are going to be investigating everything from why the heck webtoon art looks like that to the history of visual propaganda and how to fight against it, to how to discern if something is AI, because wow, do we need that right now? It's not just an art thing anymore, it's a matter of personal safety. Regardless of whether or not you like the finished painting that I ended up with in this video, I hope that you see it like I see it, which is that it is a statement of intent, of something new to come. And if you want me to do more paintings on this channel, heck, if you want to do some poisonous paintings on this channel, just let me know in the comments. Now that I'm trying to open up this channel to a lot more varied discussions about the importance of art and the art world and everything with the history of art and weird media in general, is there anything that you would like to see a video about? Let me know. And if you somehow made it to this point in the video, maybe consider subscribing, because clearly you like to listen to me yap. Yikes. Once again, thank you so much to Milanote for sponsoring this video, and for frankly bringing to pass a horrifying but very needed personal revelation. And thank you to you guys for watching this video. Thank you to my patrons for supporting me over on Patreon. I truly couldn't do it without you guys. And if you would like to go and support me on Patreon, that would be absolutely incredible, but also the economy right now is garbage nonsense. So if you don't want to, I honestly could not blame you.